the girl who believed in God and started seeing her life change. Hi everyone, welcome to the Namami YouTube channel. Today's story is about a young woman who felt like nothing in her life was going right. But when she stopped losing herself in worry and started holding on to faith, something slowly began to change. Not just around her, but within her. Her name was Nisha. She was 24 years old. Nisha was a cute, slightly chubby, modern young woman living in Bengaluru. She loved comfortable jeans, oversized shirts, sneakers, coffee, scrolling through Instagram, trying new food, and spending weekends with her friends. From the outside, her life looked completely normal. She had a job in a software company. She had friends. She had a loving family. And she earned enough to take care of herself. But inside, Nisha wasn't happy. Every morning, she woke up and immediately checked her phone. Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and without realizing it, she started comparing her life with everyone else's. One friend had moved abroad. Another had received a big salary hike. Someone was getting married. Someone had bought a new car. Another was posting pictures from a beautiful vacation. Nisha looked at her own life and thought, why is nothing happening for me? Even her career seemed stuck. She had been working hard for almost 2 years. But the promotion she was expecting went to someone else. Her manager simply told her, maybe next cycle. She smiled and said, okay. But when she reached home that evening, she closed her bedroom door and cried. Things weren't going well personally either. A man she had been talking to for several months suddenly became distant. Messages that once came within minutes now took hours. Then days. Eventually, he stopped talking to her completely. Nisha wondered, what is wrong with me? Slowly, she started losing confidence. She stopped dressing up for work. She ordered unhealthy food almost every evening. She stayed awake until 1 or 2 a.m. scrolling through her phone. And every morning, she woke up tired. Her mother would sometimes tell her, Nisha, come sit with us for some time. But Nisha would reply, Amma, please. I'm tired. Then she would close her bedroom door again. One Friday evening, Nisha had one of the worst days she'd had in months. Her manager criticized her work. A close friend canceled their weekend plan. And while scrolling through Instagram that night, she saw the man who had stopped talking to her. He was smiling in a photograph with another woman. Nisha stared at the screen. Her eyes filled with tears. She threw her phone onto the bed and whispered, why does everything go wrong for me? The next morning, her mother was going to a temple. She asked, Nisha, will you come with me? Normally Nisha would have said no. But that morning, she didn't know why. She simply said, okay. Nisha went to the temple wearing a simple kurta. There was nothing extraordinary about that morning. People were praying. Children were running around. Temple bells were ringing. Her mother stood quietly with folded hands. Nisha looked at the idol. For the first time in months, she didn't ask God for a promotion. She didn't ask for money. She didn't ask for that man to come back. She simply closed her eyes and said, God, I don't know what is happening with my life. I'm tired of trying to control everything. Please show me what I should do. She stood there quietly. Nothing magical happened, but strangely, she felt lighter. That night, before sleeping, Nisha did something different. Instead of scrolling through Instagram, she kept her phone aside. She closed her eyes and prayed for 2 minutes. She thanked God for her parents, for her job, for her home, for the food she had eaten, for simply being alive. It became a small habit. Every night, just 2 minutes. A few weeks passed. Nisha's problems hadn't disappeared, but Nisha was changing. Whenever something went wrong, instead of immediately thinking, why me? She started thinking, maybe I can't understand this right now. I'll do what I can and leave the rest to God. She started waking up a little earlier. She went for a 20-minute morning walk. Not because she hated her body, but because she wanted to take care of herself. She was still the same cute, slightly chubby Nisha. But now, she looked happier. She started eating homemade food more often. She dressed nicely for office again. She reduced late-night scrolling. And slowly, her confidence returned. One day at work, her team faced a serious problem. Everyone was stressed. Earlier, Nisha would have panicked too. But this time she stayed calm. She spent hours understanding the issue. Finally, she found a solution. Her manager looked surprised. "Good work, Nisha." It was a small sentence, but she smiled the entire way home. Then another change happened. Nisha started learning a new technology after work. Just 45 minutes every evening. Some days she was tired. Some days she wanted to skip it. But she reminded herself, faith doesn't mean sitting and waiting. I have to do my part too. So she continued. 3 months later, a recruiter contacted her on LinkedIn. There was an opening at another company. Earlier, Nisha might have thought, I'm not good enough. But this time, she applied. She attended the first interview. She cleared it, then the second, then came the final round. A few days later, her phone rang. "Nisha, congratulations. We'd like to offer you the position." The salary was much better than her current job. Nisha couldn't believe it. She immediately ran to her mother. "Amma." Her mother looked worried. "What happened?" Nisha hugged her. "I got the job." Her mother's face filled with happiness. She simply said, "See? Sometimes we just have to wait." But something surprising had happened to Nisha. A few months earlier, she would have thought the new job was the biggest blessing. Now she understood something deeper. The biggest change wasn't her salary. It wasn't her career. It wasn't even the opportunities coming into her life. The biggest change was her mind. She had learned how to be grateful even before life became better. Months later, Nisha saw another picture of the man who had once ignored her. This time, she didn't cry. She didn't feel angry. She simply looked at the photograph, smiled, and continued scrolling. Some doors closing no longer felt like rejection. Sometimes, they felt like protection. One Sunday morning, Nisha was sitting near the window drinking coffee. Her mother looked at her and said, "You've changed a lot." Nisha laughed. "How? You don't worry about everything anymore." Nisha looked outside. Then she smiled. "I still worry, Amma. I just don't believe I have to carry everything alone anymore." Life wasn't suddenly perfect. Nisha still had difficult days. She still made mistakes. Some prayers didn't receive the answer she wanted. Some plans still failed. But now, when life became uncertain, she didn't immediately lose hope. She worked. She learned. She tried. She prayed. And then, she allowed life to unfold. Moral of the story: believing in God doesn't mean that every problem will disappear overnight. Faith doesn't mean sitting quietly and waiting for miracles. Sometimes faith simply gives you the strength to get up again, to work when you're discouraged, to stay calm when life doesn't go according to plan, to be grateful for what you already have, while continuing to work for what you want. Maybe the miracle isn't always that the world around you suddenly changes. Sometimes, the miracle is that you change. And when you change the way you face life, you may slowly begin to notice your life changing too. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to the Namami YouTube channel. And remember, do your best, keep your faith, and don't lose hope just because you can't see what comes next.